Excellent. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I think we're live now. Let's see in the chat. We got people in the chat. Oh, we got a few people there. Okay, starting to come in. Had some technical glitches this morning. Sorry about that. Just a couple thumbs up in the chat if you can. Let me know. There, Mr. Powers here. Literally have your popcorn in your hands. Nice. Bruno, thanks for popping on. Bruno, I owe you a response. I think it's you. About Stacks Pro. Sorry, I've been insanely busy because of what I'm about to show off right now. So I've dropped the ball on helping some people out, but I will make sure I get back to you this afternoon. Gunter, Fernando, thanks for popping on. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, and we haven't, I think I missed 2 weeks in a row. Sorry about that. You may see me, I have a little stool back here. If you remember, I injured my foot a couple weeks ago. I still got like one of those boots on. So, but I like to stand during live streams. But I may need to sit on the stool for a little bit. Okay. So, man, I've been working hard lately. Last week I did get beta 1 of Total CMS out. For those of you who were able to join that hangout. I did post it for everybody on the Total CMS 3 beta space. So if you just want to peruse it, it is 3 hours long though. So just a warning on that. But even if you have the beta or not, you can get a little preview. I am keeping the beta kind of tight knit for right now. Just to people that I know are experienced and people that purchased the pre-sale at the summit. So, yeah, it is a limited number of people for right now until we get further down the line. Okay. But that's enough about Total CMS 3 because, we're here about to talk about a brand new stack called Video Pro. And so I've actually wanted to do this stack for a long time. I started it a while ago, but then I don't know what took priority. It was a bunch of stuff. Total CMS and a bunch of other stuff just took priority over this. I think I had started it last summer, so close to a year ago. And so I just recently looked at like, hey, let me see if I can get a new. It's been a while since I released something completely brand new, so I polished it and took the dust off of it and made it pretty flipping cool. A lot cooler than I was expecting it to be, actually. And so let's go ahead and dive in really quick. Let's go ahead and boop. Okay. So this is the Video Pro webpage. Okay. It's the product page on Weaverspace. It is live. You can actually go ahead and purchase it now. A couple questions that I've already gotten is what is the upgrade from, since this is a version 1.0 product. So I am offering an upgrade from people that own my HTML5 video stack. So if you own that, this is technically like a completely different beast. Okay. But I thought it would be good just to offer an upgrade path from that stack if you want a more professional video player. So that's what that is. Okay. Now let me step back before we go into all the features. I have I think I counted 10 different video stacks and they all do like different things, right? They're all for different purposes. And some of them have fancy animations and some have background and overlay content. Some do video slideshows and all kinds of stuff, right? Now, why do we need another one? Okay. And the big selling point here is going to be probably the last feature we're going to show off today. And that is going to be the CTAs. Okay. The call to actions. There's some other really cool features as well we're going to dive into. Okay. But Video Pro essentially if you need a video player, or if you need to play a video and have your user sit there and watch a video, not like something that's like a part of some fancy web page that, is kind of an accent. Like if you need a serious video player, this is the product. It doesn't have a lot of fancy animations like play. Now play has its place, right? I think play is really cool. It's got some, again, that hover animation with the thumbnail, and it's got some really cool features. Pops up in a light box, right? This isn't that. This is, if you want a very, very serious video player that has some serious professional features, that's what this is. Okay. So with that said, let's dive into some of the features now. All right. Well, instead of looking at the features list, let's dive straight into the demo. Okay. So one thing you'll notice here is we have device-specific videos now. Okay, meaning you kind of like if you're familiar with the F6 picture stack, the Foundation 6 picture stack, where you can define different images for different sizes of devices. You can now do that for video. Okay, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first video stack to my knowledge that actually does that. Okay, so that's really cool. And just if you look at this demo, let's go ahead and preview. I'm obviously on a large machine. We'll see that this video is playing. Okay, if I go ahead and shrink this down, let's go to like a medium size. Okay, now you can't just shrink it down. You actually have to refresh because I don't want to load videos dynamic, like multiple videos. So I do it on page load, right? But now we're smaller, and we'll see that a different video has now loaded. Okay, and let's go ahead and go all the way down to a mobile size. Okay, and we're going to refresh again and play this. And what you'll see is a third video is playing. So I'm playing now. Normally, you're not going to do this, right? You're going to load the same video just at different resolutions. I loaded 3 different videos so that you can visually see and prove to you that we're loading 3 separate videos based on the device, okay, or the screen size. Okay, so pretty basic feature. But yeah, I think it's really cool. Okay. Another thing you should notice in here is it might be a little faint over the live stream. I probably could make these a little bit bigger, but there are markers set here. So you can define little markers within the timeline for maybe key moments within a video that you want to target. And there's some other things we could do with those markers that we'll get to in a little bit. Okay. So yeah, the markers are an interesting feature. Obviously, I mean, this stack has a lot of the default features that a lot of video stacks have, autoplay, volume controls, turn off various controls down here, right? Speed features. So you can actually not a lot of videos actually have speed. So that's kind of an interesting feature where we can, 2x or 1.5x or whatever the videos. Okay. And you can turn a lot of those off. It supports AirPlay, picture in picture supports that as well. Okay. Okay. Next up is, so instead of just having a single video, what if I wanted to actually have an entire playlist of videos? And so here, if we go ahead and click on this little bad boy down here on the control panel or on the control bar, you'll see that I now have a list of videos that I can actually pick to play. So I can go ahead and pick a different video and it'll play that video. I can go here, I can pick a different video and it'll play that one, right? So you can just go through this playlist and play the different videos. Now, what's also interesting is that if you just let the videos play, it'll actually keep going. It'll play the next video and then play the next video. So like if I go ahead and if I played this video, let's go ahead and go to top one. So if I go to this top video here, once this is done, it should automatically kick into the next video. And there it goes. So it automatically kicked into the next video in the playlist. And obviously, once it hits the very last video in the playlist, it's going to stop. Okay, so there we go. So that's playlists. A really cool feature, actually. Okay. Now, I do want to note that the playlist feature and the device-specific videos feature, they overlap a little bit in that as of right now, you can't have device-specific videos and a playlist, okay? So if you want to use a playlist, because long story, but essentially they use the same kind of technology to behave or to do what their features do, okay? And the playlist feature Basically, every video that you add, which we'll look at in a little bit, will be a member of that playlist. Okay, we'll dive into WrapWeaver or into stacks and show you what that looks like. All right, now the big boy feature. Okay, and there's more features that I haven't actually put on this demo that we'll dive into. Okay, but this is the last really big feature, and it's called call to actions. Okay, actually, let me go and refresh this page. All right. So in call to actions, if we go ahead and play this video, let's see, for now, I always wonder the difference between these stacks and standard Foundation 6 and video wall stacks. This stack, the stack list mushrooms. Yes, the stack list mushrooms. Yeah. Maybe later on today, if we have some time at the end, I can kind of, I don't know, I don't want to go over every video stack, but they all have their own unique feature set. Now, the one that comes with Foundation 6, that is like the bare bones minimum. It just uses the base browser player. Okay. So I guess actually, before we dive into this, another feature of this player, okay, is that your player will look the same across multiple browsers. If you were to use something like the video stack that comes in Foundation 6 or the video stack that I have inside my free starter pack, okay, they both use the video player baked into the browser. Okay. And what that means is every browser's player is going to look a little bit different. Okay. But if we use this Video Pro, the player, the controls, everything is going to look uniform no matter what browser you go to. So that's another big one-up for this. If you want consistency across your browser and how your video player looks and behaves, then yeah, you'll like this one, okay? Because it has a consistent interface. Okay, and then there again, like I said earlier, there's a lot of other stacks that have, Play has fancy animations, Impact does like slideshows, right? So they all have some other extra pizzazz, right? But from like the base videos that the stacks that you have in Foundation 6 in my starter pack to, let's say, compared to this one, that's the big difference. Now, if you do have my HTML5 video stack, it does have a similar base player theme, but it doesn't have any of the pro features that we have here. It doesn't have device-specific videos. It doesn't have playlist support. It's not going to have CTAs and a bunch of other stuff that we're going to look at right now. Okay, CTAs. What is a CTA? It's a call to action. And there's two ways that we can launch CTAs. I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Okay, and what we'll notice is there's a little marker right here. And once we hit that marker, you should notice that, voila, okay, I have hit that marker and I had a CTA attached to that marker. Okay, and this CTA in this case is just a little, oops. Oh, interesting. It reached the end of the video. Maybe the video didn't pause. I think I forgot to click pause on that video. But okay, let's go ahead and play that again. Oh, it does continue to play. Oh, darn it. I'm going to have to fix this demo. So I do have a setting to either continue playing the video or to pause. I was expecting that to actually pause, but apparently I was testing that new feature that I added this morning, and it does that. So, but let's go ahead and play this again so we can see the CTA. Now, this CTA, as we'll see later on inside stacks, you can put whatever you want in this. You can position this box wherever you want. You can configure the background colors and all that type of stuff. And once we hit the end of the video, if you remember, this wasn't here before. Once this video ended, this used my call to action stack. So Video Pro not only has its own built-in call to actions that display within the player, but you can also integrate with call to action stack to do all the things that it does. So you can trigger light boxes. This opened a peekaboo here. You can integrate with all kinds of stuff. Okay, so and you can trigger a call to action based on any marker or if the video ends. Okay, so really, really cool. And we'll look at some other options on how we can style and some ideas about these CTAs as well. Lastly, this last demo here is an interesting one. It's just play on hover. So you see when I hover over this video, okay, it plays the video. When I unhover, it shows the thumbnail, right? You don't have to show the thumbnail on unhover. That's a feature. You can turn that on and off. You can just have the video pause. But yeah, this is interesting. So I don't know if Ryan Dalby is here, but I definitely had him in mind when I was building this, because he wanted the ability to hover over an image seamlessly and kind of have a image thumbnail on top, and then unveil and hover to show like a product video. Okay. And so yeah, a really quick, elegant way. I'm also, you see no video player here. Okay. You don't see the player controls. You don't see the play button. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really happy with that. Hey, let's dive into Stacks now that I showed you all like the big main features. There's a couple big features that I don't have demos for, but we'll dive into those right now in the Stacks. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's open up Video Pro. This is the demo file. There might be a couple pages. I think I added this YouTube page this morning. So this page might not be in the project if you already purchased this. I know some people already purchased the project file, or the stack, which includes the project file. I also have a few bug fixes that I already have implemented that haven't shipped yet. If you saw the post on the community, the demo was completely broken this morning, and I fixed it. And then I fixed the bug, and then I put that. It was actually with that play on hover thing. It was breaking all the things on the page. Long story short, I fixed it. That's why the demo is back on the product page, and it works. Okay. And then there's a couple other style bugs and whatnot, where like the play button wasn't perfectly centered and on certain themes in the Foundation 1 theme. So fix that. There's some hover color issues and just conflicts with other stacks or themes. The normal routine stuff that we have as I release stacks, right? Okay, but let's dive in. We're going to go through each of these. These are the exact demos that we just looked at on the product page, okay? So let's dive in. What I'm going to do here is we'll dive through kind of all the settings, and then we'll go through each specific one, specifically the CTAs, to kind of show you how and what we can do with those, okay? So here we have, we're going to show off the device-specific videos, but let's kind of just do a general overview of the stack settings, okay? So at the very top, we have a poster image. And I have decided just to do a warehouse poster image. The reason being, now I know some people are like, where's my drag and drop image? And I'm willing to modify this, my way of thinking here. But with videos, you can't drag and drop. You have to put in a URL to a video, right? Further down here. Now, I figured if you're going to put a URL to a video, we can just easily put a URL to a thumbnail too, right? So, I don't know. I am, if some people adamantly hate that and they want their drag and drop, but they still want, a URL for the videos, I can do that. I mean, yeah, we can do that. But, yeah, just for right now, I just thought having it a URL, we'll see how people react to that. Let me know in the comments, or if you pick it up, let me know what you think. Okay. Some other related poster images or poster settings. We can show the poster after the video's ended. So a lot of times with the default video player, you just see the last frame of the video, or sometimes just a black box, right? So this will then show that poster once the video's ended. You can also show the poster when the video is paused. Okay. So for SEO purposes, we have a title. So you can, type in your title so that the search engine gods know what this video is about, basically. Okay. Obviously your sizing options, preload data. So do you want to automatically load video? If you want the fastest page performance, then choose none or metadata. Auto will sometimes, depending on the person's connection, it will actually start downloading some of the video. So if you set it to auto, then potentially the video will play faster. So it's a tit for tat sort of thing. Do you want faster page load times, or do you want the video to load faster? It's really up to you. So we give you that option there. And obviously your start volume. Okay. I don't recommend setting that to like 1, right? Set it a little lower, or I have it set pretty low. Maybe, I think the default I have it set is 0.8. Okay. But you can set the default volume here. Next up is we have just some features that most video stacks you would anticipate, right? Autoplay, muted, plays in line. Actually, I should have plays in line turned on by default. What that does actually is, if you watch the video on a mobile device, if you have this turned off, the video will load in full screen every time, right, on a mobile device. So I think I'm going to turn this on by default. So right now it's turned off by default, I think. So we'll probably turn that on. You can set the video to loop, so it'll just keep playing and playing and playing. And then the play on hover feature. Next up is we have the ability to change a bunch of controls and when we see the controls. Okay, so do we want to always hide the controls? Do we want to always show the controls? Do we want to hide the controls when the video player loads? Do you want to hide the controls when it's paused? Right, so just various times on when we're going to see or not see the controls. Next is some extra buttons. Okay, so we have jump back and jump forwards, which is to skip 30 seconds backwards or forwards. Okay, we have AirPlay. So if the AirPlay button will only display if the browser you're viewing in supports AirPlay. Okay, and then we have the speed controls, which you could do 1.5, 1.75, 2x, blah blah blah. Okay. We have some settings for the play button. You can completely hide the play button, and then you can also set the size of it. Here's the markers, as we're just kind of diving through all these settings. When you add in timeline markers, you just define a comma delimited list of the seconds where you want the marker to be. So if you want it at 1 minute in, 60 seconds. Okay, and you can have as many of these as you want. It's just a comma delimited list of seconds. So if you're like 1 hour in, that would be 360 seconds, right? 60 times 60. Okay. You can define the width and the color of those markers as well here. Next is playlist support. We'll dive into these settings in a little bit. Okay. When we look at the playlist demo, right? And I just realized that my little cursor doodad is not on. So we'll do this so you guys can see my cursor a little bit better. Oh, thank you, Fernando. 3,600. 360 would have been 6 minutes, not 60 minutes. Thanks. Okay. Next up is transcriptions. Okay. And now this is a bit of work, okay? But you can add transcriptions in as many languages as you want directly into here, okay? And these transcriptions can be closed captions, subtitles, descriptions, and chapters, okay? So if you want to divvy up your video into chapters so you can give people chapters to navigate through, okay? You can do that. But in order to do that, you need to get a tool that creates these VTT files. Okay, it's a standard file that there's now actually, if you load your videos into YouTube, YouTube can actually transcribe a video for you. You can actually download those VTT files for free. So that's kind of cool. But there are various other services. I use a service called Happy Scribe. Okay. I actually got it on AppSumo years ago. Yeah, it'll generate VTT files for me. I'm wondering, there's probably some apps on the App Store. If you're really into it, I'm sure there has to be some apps that will generate these for you. But it is some work. Okay. And you will have to upload that file to your server, and then give the URL, just like a URL to your video file. You have to put that URL into this stack. Okay. And you can have as many of these as you want. So if you have a German track and an English track, and you can do captions and chapters. Okay. So yeah, there we go. That is transcriptions. I have not set up a demo for those yet. yeah, just ran out of time, but I hopefully I'll get a video, probably a shorter video, transcribe it, and then yeah, and then create all of that stuff for it. Okay, so that's transcriptions, and it is a lot of work. For accessibility sake, you might want to look if it's kind of a requirement. I did do very cursory, and it's not definitive that transcriptions for videos are required from an ADA standpoint or an accessibility standpoint. A lot of the laws just say your website has to be made accessible. So it's up to you whether or not that includes videos or not. Okay, but there we go. All right. Call to actions. You just click on that. We have some options here. We're going to dive into those in that particular demo. And a few other features that we didn't talk about yet. This actually integrates with some analytics and tracking things. So if you're using Facebook Pixels, Google Analytics, or Google Tag Manager, basically Video Pro will send events to those particular trackers based on whether or not a video has started, if it hits various markers, and if the video's ended. Okay, so that way you can do some retargeting with Facebook Pixels or something like that. Target someone that actually watched your video. Okay, so there you go. That's some interesting use cases. Now, if you want to use other trackers, like my call to action stack integrates with things like Matomo and Go Squared and a couple others, right? And so if you want to integrate with those, you can actually just use the CTA, okay? Enable CTAs, and then you can actually configure and integrate with my call to action stack to do that. Okay. Cool. Excellent. So let's dive into, I do want to note that you can use YouTube and Vimeo URLs. Although there is a bug in the shipped version, I've already fixed it. So in your URL, you just put a YouTube URL. And if we look at this one here, okay, we'll see that. Oops, click. There it goes. It loads the YouTube embed, but inside the video player of Video Pro. Okay, so interesting feature. There you go. And it does use, when it loads from YouTube, it loads the no cookie version of the YouTube embed. Okay, so it does load the more secure, less intrusive version of the YouTube embed. Okay, same thing for Vimeo. Okay, you can just chuck in a Vimeo URL, and that will work as well. Interesting. That YouTube embed that I just previewed, it's still playing in the background, even though I'm not previewed. Oh, there we go. That was crazy. Very interesting. Okay, anyway. Let's look at the playlist. Okay. So pretty simple. Here is a Video Pro. I've gone ahead and turned on playlist. Now, when you turn on playlist, you have a couple extra buttons that you have the ability to turn on and off. Just the ability to go from next and previous videos in the playlist. Now, when you do that, you can go ahead and add multiple videos in here. I should actually you can add as many videos as you want, just with this little blue plus button, okay? Now, when we look at these, what you're going to want to do is you're going to turn on add playlist support, okay? And what that will do is that's going to unveil some new settings for us. And it gives us a thumbnail, a title, and a description. And those are important because that's what actually shows up in the playlist. Okay. Now, if you don't have a thumbnail, you just omit that, and it will basically all this text will kind of go flush left. Okay. And actually still looks quite nice without a thumbnail if you don't want to supply a thumbnail. Okay. You don't have to supply a description. I would recommend having a title, though, at least. Okay. So that you can, actually see what the videos are. Okay. And that's pretty much it for a playlist. I mean, it's simple. You just upload, again, the same video URL, you put in the type of video it is, and then you add playlist support, and then you put in your additional information that will then display inside of that playlist. And that's really it with playlists. It's really simple. Good interface. Before we dive into CTAs, let's just show this this hover demo. Okay. And what's unique about this is, so I turned on looping a video. Okay. I turned on play on hover. And then I turned on always hide controls. And then I turned on hide play button. And that's how I was able to achieve this look where if I loop, it plays the video when I hover over it. And the video is just going to keep playing over and over and over again until I unhover. So there we go. It restarts. Okay. I also have show poster when ended and show poster when paused enabled. Actually, I probably don't need show poster when ended since it's in loop. So that probably doesn't make sense or doesn't really matter. But yeah, show poster when paused probably definitely makes sense because I want to show the poster when I'm unhovering from it, right? Just to show you if I turn that off, right, and I hover over, it's going to play. And basically without that, I mean, when you unhover for this particular video, it doesn't make sense. Maybe the video that you're displaying, it does, but I think it looks better, at least for this particular video, to show the poster when it's paused, aka unhovered. Right? So there we go. So that was all the magic that we needed to create this particular demo. All right, let's go into CTAs now. Okay, which I think is the bread and butter. It is the feature, the selling feature of the stack. I think the biggest selling feature. Okay. There aren't many things out there that allow you to create call to actions within your video player, which is a very cool thing. Okay. So as we see in this demo, let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. All right. In Video Pro, let's scroll down. I said add player CTAs. What you can do is you can set a background color. Okay. So you can configure the background color and opacity of whatever the background is going to be. Okay. You can set the color of the close button, and then you can set the blur radius. Okay. Now in this particular demo, I've added two different CTAs in here. Okay. There's actually three CTAs, I believe. First, I added, and you can add as many as you want. Just click the plus button. When you turn on CTAs, it adds a new drop zone area, and you can add in your CTAs. Now, when you add a new one, you'll see that there's a drop zone. That is the contents that you're going to add to place inside of the CTA. And let's look at this stack. Basically, there's only a couple settings. So after the video ends is the default. So it'll do a CTA when the video ends. You can also do after a marker. Now, when you choose after a marker, you're going to put in the actual marker location. Now, this means that you have to make sure that it is a marker that you've defined inside of the video stack. So here I've defined 3 and 10. So in here, this has to be 3 or 10. Okay. If it's a 9, the CTA will never launch. Okay. Because it has to be a configured marker. Next is we have the ability to pause the video or keep the video playing. Okay. Let's look at some of these examples here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually over here, we're going to set that to be, completely transparent. All right. And let's look at that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. And what we'll see is after 3 seconds, okay, you see after 3 seconds, my CTA, now I made this one very subtle in that all it is a little button up here at the top right corner. Or yeah, top left corner, sorry, right? And maybe this button goes somewhere. Maybe it's a buy button. Maybe during your video, you're like, hey, click on this button now, something like that. Okay. And click this button to attend this webinar or to buy this amazing product or whatever you want, right? I just wanted to show you that you can make these CTAs. It doesn't need to be like a full screen thing. It could be just a button, right? Here, let's look at that really quick. And basically what I did is, here's the CTA. I configured it to be after the marker at 3 seconds. And basically what I do is I just have a target stack If you have Foundation 6, you could use a position swatch as well, and a button stack. And that's it. And I set target to go up to the top right corner. Okay. By default, content will be centered, okay, within the video. Okay. But with this video CTA or with target, I'm moving it up to the top left corner. Pretty cool. All right. Let's look at this other one here. Now, this particular one is going to launch at 10 seconds. Okay. This, and also I should say that this particular one, if you notice the video kept playing, that is because it's an unobtrusive CTA and I don't want to stop the video for it, right? So this particular CTA does not pause the video. But this particular one at 10 seconds, I do want to pause the video because this particular one is going to maybe replace the contents, or it's going to overlay the video, and we want to make sure that we see what we want, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and preview that. We're going to wait 10 seconds, so we'll see it's right at this other marker down here. So there's my first CTA came up, and after it hits this mark here, the second CTA is going to come. Okay. And it looks like there's a bug in the pause because, yeah, I'm going to have to fix that. That didn't pause either, even though I set it to say pause. So that was a feature I added this morning. The feature you guys have right now doesn't have the pause video feature. So, yeah, looks like I need to do a little bit more testing on that. But let's pretend that it actually worked. Okay. So if we go over here, let's just go ahead and pause. Okay. So as you see here, I just manually paused it. This CTA is pretty much taken over. Okay. And yeah, I can make this, if you wanted, you can make this full screen as well. Okay. And actually, traditionally, let's go ahead and look at, if I go ahead and change the style of the CTA, we're going to go ahead and go to, let's go to something like this, something like that. And we're going to blur 5 pixels. I think this is close to what the default values are. Well, let's see what that does. All right. So as you see here, by default, it creates like an overlay over the whole video. And again, by default, it should pause the video as well. But for this particular CTA, because it's just a button up at the top, I made this entire background transparent, right? So it makes sense for a little button CTA like this. But if we go to this other CTA, which is further down, oops. Right? This particular style of CTA, this makes perfect sense, right? Because and this CTA is going to pause the video. It's kind of putting something directly in the middle of the video. And yeah, I think it makes sense for this type of CTA, which is pretty cool. Okay. Now, the very last CTA on this page, I think it's when the video ends. Okay, there it goes. It's this peekaboo. We saw when that video ended, peekaboo dropped down here. Okay, and let's look at how that's done. So that is done actually completely outside of the Video Pro stack. Essentially, and actually a reminder, I'm actually going to ship a update to call to action after this, so that you can get this feature, because I didn't ship this update to call to action yet. In call to action, you can go ahead, if you click plus, you'll notice that there is going to be a Video Pro trigger here. Okay. I also added a Foundation 6 Forms trigger. Prior, you'd have to use the external trigger, but I actually, in this update for call to action, there's a specific one just for Foundation 6 Forms now. You don't have to use the external trigger. External trigger will still work. I didn't remove it for backwards compatibility's sake, but yeah, I thought it would be better just to kind of create its own. But now there's one for Video Pro, and let's look at what that is. So in Video Pro, essentially what you can do is you can say, you can launch a CTA when the video starts, when the video ends, or when a marker is reached. Okay. Now, another thing that it does is you can actually support, on this, this particular page, I only have one video. Okay. If you only have one video, it's fine. But basically what you could do is you can actually add a criteria So this particular video has the word outro in the video name. Okay. And so what this does is you can put in words in here that will match against the video URL that's currently triggering the call to actions. And then if it doesn't match, this call to action will be ignored. Okay. So like, for example, on the main demo, when I have like 4 or 5 different instances, I only want to trigger this CTA on particular instances, not all of them, right? So particular videos. And so this allows you to limit which video your call to action is actually going to get triggered against. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So in this case, I set it to be video ended. And then inside call to action, you set up your action. So this one is, it's going to launch a peekaboo. And then here's the peekaboo instance that it launches. Okay. And peekaboo just kind of unveils the content below. Okay. But you can do all kinds of other stuff, right? If you're familiar with call to action, it's super powerful. You can launch light boxes. You can send events to a toggler or light boxes. You can also send stuff to analytics trackers. So if you want to send some custom data to Matomo or GoSquared or Clicky. Clicky was the other one I couldn't think of. Okay. So there we go. I'm not going to dive all into call to action. Super powerful stack. And again, it allows you to trigger actions from not only my stuff, but a lot of third-party stacks, as you see here from this drop-down. A lot of them are lightboxes or lightbox style stacks, modal type of stacks, but things like Peekaboo, the Foundation 6 toggler, super, so you can like toggle a class on something based on whether or not a video is played. Super powerful. There we go. All right, let me see if there's any questions here. Is it possible to use animations with the CTA? I'm not sure what animations you're hoping to use, Bruno. Like animations inside, like you can do hover animations and stuff like that. It's just a swatch. So yeah, if you had swatches, you should be able to use swatches on anything inside here. If you have any sort of complex CTA, okay, let's say you wanted a subscription form, okay. What I'd recommend is if you wanted something more complex that needed to be interacted with, what you're going to do is you're going to, inside of the CTA, you're going to put in, let's say, an offsite stack that is an iframe. And then that is going to iframe into, let's say, a web page that has just a subscription form. Okay. And then basically to the user, they're not going to know it's an iframe. It'll look like it's natively right there. But yeah, for you, it'll just, seamlessly go through the iframe and it'll interact, and you can have a subscription form or any sort of, form or widget that you want that maybe is a little bit more complex than what can be added directly to a CTA. Okay. Basically, if you have stuff that relies on a lot of JavaScript or things like that you want to have inside of the CTA, it might or might not work. Okay. It's kind of like a rain check sort of thing where the contents of the CTA doesn't actually exist on the page until it's actually launched. Okay. So, yeah, basically, if you have something mildly complex that you want to have inside the CTA, I think the best approach for now, at least, is an iframe. Okay. Yeah, I think I reviewed pretty much everything about this stack, every nook and cranny of it. I look forward to, seeing your feedback. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. You can build a lot of really powerful stuff with this. I'm excited to see where we take things, right? Some of the features I've already added this morning, such as, I think CTA styles in the version you have, you can't like do the background colors and stuff yet. That is a feature I added, I believe it was this morning. All the days are fogged and they're all merging together now, right? So, really good stack. And like I said, if you want a serious video player, this is it, right? It is really a serious video player. It doesn't have some of the bells and whistles and nice, beautiful animations like something like Play or Impact, or it doesn't have features like Video Wall. One thing I should say, okay, Video Pro does and should work. I don't have demos of it, but it should work perfectly with feeds or total CMS to auto-generate stuff. Okay. So you can auto-generate different video pro. You can also chuck a feeds down into here and generate, videos. You can also, you can do a lot. Okay. So, feeds or total CMS, you can generate these. You can generate video pros. There's all kinds of different ways you can approach this depending on what you want to do. But it should work seamlessly with feeds and total CMS to generate your content. And you should be able to use the various macros within all of these fields, which is pretty exciting. Cool. Well, with that, guys, I thought I was going to be a little bit quicker. We're at almost an hour. So, cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hope you go and check it out. There is a discounted upgrade available for those that own my HTML5 video stack. This product is a completely different beast. It does a lot more, but I wanted to offer an upgrade for those that own my HTML5 video stack. So you get a $15 off Video Pro if you already own that stack. Just use the same email that you used to purchase HTML5 video, even if you purchased it 10 years ago, because that stack's been around for a long, long time. So, cool. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and go forth and make your websites great. Bye.